Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Artie Cox and Jason Crow in the new channel, Moving to and Living in Jacksonville, Florida. In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Jacksonville, Florida. So, Jason, take it away, man. Tell me some of your pros of living in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, so living in Jacksonville, Florida, you have the beach, and then you have your city life, and then you have kind of like a middle area there in South Jacksonville. So you got a little bit of and then you got country living like outside of there. Jacksonville is the largest city in the United States, so you got a mix of everything. So it's just a great kind of diversification of things that you can experience and enjoy and have a little bit of whatever you want, and you can even be living in one and then go visit the other whenever you want to, and then you got great weather. One thing that I love about Jacksonville is that like if you live down in South Florida, weather doesn't change 75 degrees or higher, and it's too hot, but in Jacksonville you actually get it kind of cold during the, it's not real cold, of course it's Florida, but you get a little bit of that, chilly feeling during the winter, and then, it's warm most of the year, but at least you get that little bit of that experience of the season. So that's kind of what I enjoy about Jacksonville, and then, it's just a great city in general. So.
Awesome, Jason. So some of my pros of Jacksonville, what I love about it is, like you mentioned, and it's the largest city land-wise in the United States. So it gives you plenty of room to roam, and we're both real estate agents in the area. And oh, by the way, hit that like button and subscribe to our new channel. But you have a lot of different neighborhoods and a lot of different communities, in the Jacksonville area. So it just gives you a plethora of different, places to go to, a lot of diversity, and things like that. And you have a lot of universities. What I noticed about this area is that it's a very educational area. A lot of community colleges, a lot of colleges, a lot of education. What's some other things, Jason, that you would say some pros about Jacksonville in your mind?
Well, you also got like the oldest city in Florida is just south of you in St. Augustine, so you can drive down to St. Augustine, and it's only 30-40 minutes away to get some of the historical features of Florida. And then also another thing that I like about Jacksonville is that you can be you can't be a surfer like you're on the the west, or the west coast in California, but at least you got waves over here versus going to Tampa or the other coast. So you got that part of the beach that you can go and do your thing over there. And like I said, like you got a little bit of everything here. You can live in the country. I mean, this is they call Jacksonville kind of southern Georgia, because we have a lot of Georgia fans. I mean, I'm a Gator fan, but
well, we won't hold that against you.
Yeah, we won't hold anybody against that. Yeah. All those FSU fans, but whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly, man. So St. Augustine, but I live on the north side of Jacksonville, towards the airport, so we're very close to the Georgia line, which is cool. Right. So Atlanta's not far, 5 hours. You got Orlando. I know you mentioned St. Augustine. And Daytona Beach is not far. Right. So really, with Jacksonville, you're close to some major cities, some major tourist attractions. Tampa's not far. Miami's only 5 hours. So Jacksonville is truly an international city. You got the Jacksonville International Airport. You got the Jacksonville Zoo. You know what I mean? The Jacksonville Jaguars. America's new team. Yeah, go ahead.
And Orlando's not that far away. You just go, down south a couple hours, and you hit Orlando, and you don't have to stay there. If it's too congested, you can always come back home and come back to Jacksonville and be over here as your home base and travel around.
Right, man. What's that you got in your hand, man? Looks like you got it. Is that McDonald's coffee over there, man?
What is this? McCafe coffee. Got to get me going in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now, man, we talked a little bit about some of the pros. Yeah. So now let's get into the little nitty gritty. So, not everything is peaches and cream in Jacksonville. So let's hit on some of the cons, man, before we get out of here, man. Okay. What's some things that you like?
You start off on that.
You want me to start off on that? Okay. So some of my cons with Jacksonville, I'll be straight up with you. I think the city does not do the best job in keeping up the infrastructure. And what I mean by that, you're going to see in certain areas of town you're going to see the roads kind of jacked up. Some roads, some streets, you have more, passageway to go through. Other streets are real small. A lot of times there's not sidewalks in certain areas of town, and even really all over. So what you got to be careful of, if you ride bikes, if you walk, you really got to watch out for these pedestrians, because these drivers here in Jacksonville, man, they get behind cars, get in their cars, and look, you got to be careful. You would get run over. I was almost ran off the road. I was on I-10, and the guy wouldn't let me get over, and I was late, because I got crossed up. But with the traffic, a lot of times, and all the construction, you can get screwed up. So that's some of the things, you got to be careful of. So if you're a bike rider, if you're a walker, if you're a jogger, watch out truly for these drivers, because they will, everybody nowadays is on their phone, including me. Shouldn't be when I'm driving, so I'm telling on myself. But that's some of the things. And another thing, before I let Jason jump on a little bit, is the trash, man. I see a lot of trash on the highways, and this is all sides of town. In some of my previous videos, I had talked about the trash. We need to do a better job, including myself, for picking up, the trash. And maybe that's something that, man, we can just work together with the city and helping clean up. I know they have a lot of cleanups and stuff like that, but you'll see it periodically, on the highways, when you're driving through the highway, like entering the highways, and just in certain areas, just more trash. So just something to consider. All right, Jason, what do you think, man? Talk to me.
Well, I kind of want to, bounce off of that and, say, yeah, the traffic, can be pretty bad depending on what times, what do they call that, between like 5 and 6 where everyone's getting off work and stuff, rush hour. But, I-10, yeah, I think I-10's like some of the, worst drivers that I've kind of experienced in terms of their, like you said, looking at their phones, they're swerving in and out of lanes, so you can be very careful. And you do have the construction, so the lanes are so small. I kind of take this opportunity to be a NASCAR driver and drive as fast as I can and swerve in and out, which is probably not the best thing to do, but
right.
But you have to be very aware of what's going on, or you will get caught up in that traffic, and it will not be so great. One of the other, the weather can get, pretty humid over here. During the summers, but like I said, as a, positive, Jacksonville, it does get colder during the winter than it does in other parts of Florida, which, I used to live on the West Coast, near the Gulf and in Crystal River. And it was hotter, year round than it is here. Then also I lived in West Palm Beach, and that's where I was kind of talking from my experience of living in South Florida. It never got cold at all. So, it's a negative, but also positive. It's something you got to be aware of. And then, it's a positive and a negative, and like, I kind of say it like that, but, Jacksonville is developing, is growing. Like, we're adding, and people are moving here all the time. Someone was telling me that, the growth is actually exponential. And that just adds to the congestion and stuff of Jacksonville. But like I said, it is what it is, and you just kind of got to deal with it. But, I like it overall.
Well, great, man. So another thing, man, hurricanes. Sometimes, people from out of town, out of state, well, what about the hurricanes in, Jacksonville? So what I would say, I've been here 22 years in Jacksonville, and the hurricane preparedness is on point. So the key thing, man, is just be smart with the hurricanes. If they tell you to evacuate and you're in a flood zone, you're in a beach area, get the heck out of there, man. Don't play with it, right? But you are gonna have flash flooding sometimes. You'll have issues with the weather, a lot of rain sometimes. And just use precaution. So the weather sometimes it's a plus in the sense that it's warm pretty much year round, but then it can get, you can have thunderstorms, a lot of lightning. In Florida in general, people get struck by lightning more so than any other state. And so Jacksonville has its share of people getting struck by lightning. So it's key. When that lightning strikes, man, look, get out of the way, get inside. Well, go ahead, man, jump in.
But also a positive of Jacksonville is that we if you look at the peninsula of Florida, Jacksonville kind of is an armpit. So it kind of curves in a little bit where Jacksonville is, and so all those big hurricanes that come by, they actually go out to sea before they even hit Jacksonville, or they barely even skirt us, or they die down before they get up to us, because they're coming mostly from the south. Now you may have a sidewinder that come in and hit it, but
yeah.
I mean we rarely get hit that hard as other parts of Florida. And like I said, I've lived in on the west coast of Florida where we got hit really hard, and then I lived in West Palm Beach where we got hit really pretty hard. But Jacksonville is a little bit unique in that fact. In Jacksonville and St. Augustine, which is the city right below it, we don't get that much, but we do get the surge of the water. So if you do buy properties in a flood zone, I know that our flood zones have increased a little bit because of that backup of the water to make people aware that these parts of Jacksonville could flood, because the rivers actually the St. John's backed up into the little rivers that go inland, and made that a little bit worse. But the positive of that, like I was saying before, is that we live kind of like on an armpit, so that the hurricanes kind of go away from us versus come straight through us. And then by the time, if they're coming up the state, they're going to die before they get up here, so we're the top.
Right, great point. And so a lot of times what happens is perception becomes reality. Yeah. And people think, oh, the hurricanes. But just like Jason said, we've never really been hit. And there's certain areas like near the water and stuff. So I've been blessed to not been hit. Now, another thing you got to be aware of is with the trees. A lot of time you get a lot of rain sometimes, and those trees will fall down. So you got to watch out for the falling trees, falling, electrical cords, a lot of times. So those are some things. So again, man, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Moving to and living in Jacksonville, Florida with Jason Crow and Artie Cox, man. We're real estate agents. We'd love to help you out. We're moving to the area. So give us a call, shoot us a text. We'll set up a Zoom meeting. We'll love to help you out, man. And Jason, anything else you want to add before we sign off here, man?
Oh, no, just don't count Florida or any Jacksonville out because of the hurricanes. People move here and say, oh, hurricanes, and then when they get here, they live here for a while. They're like, oh, well, that wasn't that bad. Perception is reality, but just know from us talking right here, perception is, don't believe that perception, because Jacksonville actually is a great city, and you're not going to get hit that hard. Just cut your trees down, before that wind comes. So right.
And so, like Flavor Flav said, don't believe the hype. Yeah. Y'all be blessed. Till next time. Talk to you soon.